morning, students. So light reaction includes the synthesis of energy during the photosynthesis. So light reaction consists of two pathways. One is cyclic photophosphorylation and the other one is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So in cyclic photophosphorylation, this energy, whatever it is synthesized, is nothing but the ATP. So one ATP is generated. The energy, whatever it is produced, is one ATP in the cyclic photophosphorylation. So how it takes place, how this energy, light energy, is converted to chemical energy, we are going to study. So Frankel, this cyclic photophosphorylation demonstrated this was demonstrated for the first time in Rhodospirillum rubrum, a bacteria called Rhodospirillum rubrum. So, and this was studied by scientist Frankel. This was studied by the Frankel scientist. So what is phosphorylation? Phosphorylation is, in the last class I told you, phosphorylation is the production of ATP by chloroplast during photosynthesis. We call this as phosphorylation. Production of ATP by chloroplast during photosynthesis. We call it as phosphorylation. That is photophosphorylation. Strictly speaking, photophosphorylation. Okay? The energy is used for chloroplast. Whatever the energy which is produced, that energy is used for chloroplast activities like CO2 fixation in dark reaction. CO2 fixation in the dark reaction. Okay? Right. Next, where does the cyclic photophosphorylation occur? The cyclic photophosphorylation occurs in the stroma lamellae. So this occurs in the stroma lamellae. cyclic photophosphorylation occurs in the stroma lamellae. So this lacks, what is stroma lamellae? You know, the connections between the grana. Connections between the grana, we call it as stroma lamellae. So which lacks photosystem 2 and NADP reductase, which lacks photosystem 2 and NADP reductase. Photosystem 2 and NADP reductase. These both are absent in the stroma lamellae. Therefore, you don't see non-cyclic occurs in the stroma lamellae. Only cyclic can occur in the stroma lamellae, as the photosystem 2 and NADP reductase are absent. It involves cyclic photophosphorylation involves only photosystem 1 P700. It involves only photosystem 1 P700. Okay, right. So how does this cycle takes place? The electrons are ejected from the chlorophyll A. So let us see how does the cycle takes place. So here, before going for the cycle, you can clearly say that in this no NADP is produced by cyclic photophosphorylation. The energy NADPH is not produced by cyclic photophosphorylation, and no photolysis also, no photolysis, that is splitting of water. No photolysis, that is splitting of water, occurs, and that is splitting of water also does not take place in the cyclic photophosphorylation, and no evolution of oxygen. And no evolution of oxygen. Is it clear? Right. So this is with related to the cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay. Now let us see the pathway in detail. How does the pathway takes place? So LHC, photosystem 1, P700. So now you see, when the light falls on the light harvesting complex which is present in the thylakoid membrane, Very important. Where does this is present? In the thylakoid membrane. So, just a minute. So, the light which is falling on the light harvesting center, that is photosystem 1, when it falls, chlorophyll A, it falls on the chlorophyll A, and then you already know that the antenna will receive the light, which is nothing but the accessory pigments. I told you hundreds of accessory pigments are present. Hundreds of accessory pigments are present surrounding this. Okay, right. And chlorophyll A is present at the center. So light first absorbs by the accessory pigments, then accepts. So if you see clearly, suppose these are the chlorophyll A, and here we see the axillary pigments, hundreds of axillary pigments, that is keratins, xanthophylls and all. So first light will absorb by the axillary pigments, and then that light will again transfer to the chlorophyll A. So when it transfers to the chlorophyll A, then the electrons in the chlorophyll A, when the light falls on the chlorophyll A, the electrons will eject out. When the electrons are ejected out, they move to higher energy state. The chlorophyll A gets excited. So this is called excited state. So the electrons are moving. So two electrons. When the electrons are ejected out from its, so for two photons, two electrons, we are doing the calculation for 2 photons, 2 electrons. So for every 2 photons, 2 electrons will eject out from the chlorophyll A to higher energy level. So that is called an excited state. So once it moves to an excited state, then the electrons will carry to the different electron acceptors. So that is nothing but the ferredoxin, FD. First, the 2 electrons will accept by the FD, stands for ferredoxin. Full form, ferredoxin. So once it is accepted by the first electron acceptor, ferredoxin is the first electron acceptor. Ferredoxin is the first electron acceptor, and which is located towards the stroma. This is located towards the stroma side. Very important. Located towards the stroma side. Towards stroma side. Okay. So this ferredoxin, it is located. This ferredoxin, which is located towards the stroma side. So it is a first electron acceptor. So this first electron acceptor, which is located towards the stroma side, accepts the 2 electrons, and then it will transfer those 2 electrons to the plastoquinone, PQ. PQ stands for plastoquinone. So it donates the 2 electrons from this to plastoquinone. So it donates the 2 electrons to the plastoquinone, PQ. So this plastoquinone accepts the 2 electrons. So which is the hydrogen carrier, proton carrier. So that is cytochrome B6F. So it transfers these electrons to cytochrome B6F. Cytochrome B6F. That means when 2 electrons reaches to the cytochrome B6F, Then two protons will, this is stroma side I told you. So this is stroma. So from the stroma, the protons will enter into the lumen. Say this is lumen. That is towards the inside the thylakoid membrane, lumen side. So crossing the stroma, it enters into the lumen. So see in this is a chloroplast. Inside you will have the thylakoids connections. So now what we are telling, this takes place in the stroma lamellae here. Inside you see the lumen space. So now this is stroma and this is lumen. So the pathway is taking place between this. So this is a stroma side and this is lumen side. So when two electrons reaches to accept by the cytochrome B6F, it acts as a proton channel and then it allows the two protons to move inside the lumen. Now once the protons passes from the stroma to the lumen through the cytochrome B6F, now this is one plastoquinone. This is one round of pathway. So here, if you take for each electron, two protons will pass at once. For each electron, two protons are passing. So therefore, if you see, for two electrons, that means one quinone cycle. For each electron, one quinone cycle is taking place. So this is called quinone cycle. Q cycle means quinone cycle. What is quinone cycle? For every one electron which is passing from the plastoquinone to cytochrome B6F, the two protons will move from the stroma to the lumen. So for two electrons, two protons. So how many quinone cycles? Two quinone cycles. For one quinone cycle, one proton. For two quinone cycles, two protons will eject out. Okay? So therefore, two quinone cycles will takes place. So the concentration gradient of two protons thus established, which is sufficient for the synthesis of 1 ATP. This I will explain you later in the chemiosmotic hypothesis. So now inside the lumen, how many protons came? Two protons. Okay. Now here the cytochrome B6F, whatever it is accepting two protons, again transfers the electrons to the plastocyanin PC. So that is called as a PC, plastocyanin. Plastocyanin. So from the plastocyanin, the two electrons what it is accepted, those will again reach back to the two electrons are reaching back to the same, that is to the photosystem 1, P700. Photosystem 1, that is P700. Therefore, as the electrons are ejected from here, two electrons, they are accepted by different electron acceptors and again reach back to the same chlorophyll A. Therefore, the cycle is called cyclic photophosphorylation. And in this pathway, in this movement of electrons, two protons are ejected into the lumen. So now we have, in the lumen we have two protons, rich with two protons. These two protons are sufficient for the carrying of, for the synthesis of 1 ATP. So this calculation how it is, we will see in the chemiosmotic hypothesis. Okay, let us see that. So now in cyclic, the two protons. Again these two protons in the lumen, they go back to the stroma. Once they go back to the stroma, through how they go? Through the, again the electron carrier, the proton carriers. The protons which is passed away through the F0 and F1 complex. So this is called ATP synthase complex. So ATP synthase complex, when they are going back, then it synthesizes the ATP, that is ADP, adenosine diphosphate, takes an inorganic phosphate in the stroma, present in the stroma, this all. During the movement of 2 protons and 2 electrons, this will form the ATP. So again, when the protons are moving back, in presence of these protons, the ATP which is generated. So one ATP is generated. This calculation in detail I will tell you in chemiosmotic hypothesis. So for the time being, what you understood, that only one particular ATP is synthesized in the cyclic photophosphorylation, very important. So let us see again how does the movement takes place. Okay, so when the light is passing, when the light strikes the leaf, inside the leaf mesophyll cells are present. Inside the mesophyll cells we see the chloroplast are present. Inside the chloroplast we see thylakoids are present. In the thylakoid membrane the light harvesting complex are present. See the order. Okay, so there when it strikes the chlorophyll A molecule, then you see the electrons. We are giving calculation for 2 electrons. Okay, for every 2 electrons, the 2 photons, 2 electrons. For 2 photons, 2 electrons are ejected out. So therefore, it is an excited state of P700. Then the 2 electrons reach to ferredoxin, FD, ferredoxin to plastoquinone, plastoquinone to cytochrome B6F. Here very important, they will pass the protons from the stroma to the lumen, and then the 2 electrons again moves to plastocyanin and then back to photosystem 1. So therefore, as the electrons are carrying from photosystem 1 again reaching back to the photosystem 1, we call this as cyclic photophosphorylation. Thereby what energy which is synthesized? Only one ATP is synthesized in this. So very important, cyclic photophosphorylation produces one ATP. Cyclic photophosphorylation produces one ATP. So how it is produced one ATP is by chemiosmotic hypothesis. By Mitchell chemiosmotic theory produced, note down, by Mitchell Mitchell's chemiosmotic theory. By Mitchell's chemiosmotic theory, the ATP is synthesized. Mitchell's chemiosmotic theory, the ATP is synthesized. Okay, right. So this is due to the concentration gradient of protons that's established. The concentration gradient thus established, concentration gradient, that is 2 protons, thus established. The concentration gradient 2 protons thus established is sufficient for the synthesis of 1 ATP. Is sufficient for the synthesis of 1 ATP. So what is the calculation? For every 2 protons, 1 ATP is generated. For every 2 electrons, 2 protons are generated. See the calculation, just remember this, okay? 2 electrons for 2 photons, for 2 photons, 2 electrons. For 2 electrons, 2 protons. For 2 protons, 1 ATP. Okay? So this is what the calculation is. For the light, the 2 photons which is accepted, 2 electrons. For the 2 electrons, 2 protons and 1 ATP. Okay? Right. So this is about the cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay. So this 1 ATP, how it is synthesized, we will how the proton movement will synthesize 1 ATP. This I will explain in the chemiosmotic habits. Don't worry. This you will clearly understand in the after non-cyclic chemiosmotic we will discuss now. There I will tell you how does this is synthesized. So clear now about the non-cyclic. So till now, if cyclic photophosphorylation occurs, you see the synthesis of 1 ATP. So that is the energy. So next is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So keep the heading non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So non-cyclic, if you understand cyclic, non-cyclic also takes place in the same way until few steps. Okay. So what is this non-cyclic? The in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, this occurs in the grana or grana lamellae, grana membrane. This occurs in the grana membrane or grana lamellae. Grana membrane or grana lamellae. So, Robert Hill and Bendall in 1960 proposed the Z scheme with the 2 photosystems. For the first time, Robert Hill and Bendall in 1960 proposed the non-Z scheme, which is called non-cyclic. Z scheme, non-cyclic is called as Z scheme. Shortly, we call it as Z scheme. So the cycle pathway appears as the Z. So we call that as a Z scheme with 2 photosystems. With how many photosystems? 2 photosystems. What are those? The 2 photosystems are photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Photosystem 1 is with P700. Photosystem 2 is with P680. That is the light absorption maxima is at 700 and 680. So therefore we call this in the shape of Z, the pathway Z scheme. So photosystem 2 P680 absorbs red light where electrons excite and jump to the next orbital. So, okay, farther to the atoms. So this in the pathway we will discuss. Okay, right. So as the pathway is undergoing, the Z scheme So here in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, we see two ATPs and one NADPH is produced. The energy whatever it is produced is NADPH one molecule and two ATPs. Two ATPs and one NADP molecule which is produced. Okay? Right. So here the Z scheme which is going, the movement of electrons from the uphill to downhill is like Z shape. The movement of electrons from uphill to downhill is like Z shape. So it is called Z scheme. So it is called as Z scheme. Okay, right. So this process of, again same like in cyclic photophosphorylation, the pathway will take place. So here if you see, the photolysis occurs. Photolysis occurs in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, and also you see here photosystem 2 and NADP reductase are present. Both NADP reductase and photosystem 2 are involved. NADP reductase and photosystem 2 are present in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, which is absent in the cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay, right. And this Z scheme is inhibited by this non-cyclic photophosphorylation can be stopped or can be inhibited by the herbicide. So the Z scheme is inhibited by a herbicide called DCMU, which is dichlorophenyl dimethylurea. Dichlorophenyl dimethylurea. The full form, very important bit. Dichlorophenyl dimethylurea is the herbicide, which is the herbicide to inhibit the Z scheme, that is a non-cyclic electron transport chain. Okay, so here the pathway involves both photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. 680. So here when you take the photosystem 1, the 680. First the electrons are, whatever the electrons which are accepted, the electrons which are accepted, because when the electrons are falling, it falls both on photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. So as it is falling on the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 simultaneously also, here the light it takes the two, ejects the two electrons from the chlorophyll molecules, and that two electrons, whatever it is ejecting, those will get excited, the chlorophyll gets excited, thereby it passes the electrons to the electron carriers. So who are the electron carriers? Same thing. First electron carrier, first electron acceptor in the case of cyclic is ferredoxin, but here it is pheophytin. So the electrons are carried to the pheophytin initially, and then it moves to plastoquinone. Again there it undergoes two quinone cycles, just like what I told. The two quinone cycles also takes place here, and then when two quinone cycles takes place here, we see the electrons, the protons which move from the stroma to the lumen, and then two protons are accumulated in the lumen. So inside the lumen we see photolysis takes place. There you see the splitting of water takes place. So therefore the photolysis occurs, which is splitting of water. Splitting of water will donate two protons to the lumen, which donates two protons to the lumen. As it donates two protons to the lumen, previously two protons will come from the cytochrome B6F. So those two protons and these two protons, totally how many protons? 4 protons. So 4 protons can give 2 ATPs in the chemiosmotic hypothesis. So in chemiosmotic hypothesis, it gives 2 protons, totally 4 protons, which gives 2 ATPs, and also it gives 1 NADPH as the electrons are reaching finally to the acceptor of final electron acceptor, that is ferredoxin. Okay, so it reaches finally to NADP and get reduced to NADPH and H plus. Okay, right. So that is how we see non-cyclic photophosphorylation takes place. So therefore this non-cyclic electron transport chain pathway, we call it as a Z scheme or non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So here very important, 2 ATPs and 1 NADP is generated in the particular pathway. So in detail pathway, in the next class we will discuss the detailed pathway, so that we can clearly understand how does the electrons are moving, moving from the photosystem 2 to photosystem 1, and why it is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation, we will clearly understand. Okay, right. So see you in the next class with non-cyclic electron transport chain. Okay, right.